Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name's Teri, and these are my good friends, Dr. Gail and Diana Oilpntr. So, welcome to Galactic Gaia. It's a new channel on healing and healers. So, Dr. Gail and I put this together, mostly Dr. Gail, and we are interviewing healers and kind of making what would you call it? A record?
A library. We're making a library of healers. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's difficult for us to go in, and for me, and I can't only can speak for myself, but I've heard this from a lot of people. When you go in and you see somebody's website and you're looking at all the things they offer, you're sitting there just as confused as you were before because you don't understand. Even if you read it, you don't really understand what it is. So this is the opportunity for people to come on and talk about exactly what they do and what kind of things, healing things they do that people can sign up for or not sign up for, or look at the YouTube channels, whatever they want. But it just gives the opportunity to find out what each of us do, because so many of us do it the same thing. We just come at it a different way. But the library is where you can go and watch a quick little 5, 10, 15-minute video and really know what they do and see if you connect with them. And if you do want a reading or something with them, you can get in touch with them.
Yeah, or a class, right? I feel like we're all evolving so fast, our energy, that you might find that you're doing something that one of our healers comes on and talks about, or you want more information on it. So today we're working with Diana Oilpntr, my good friend, who identifies as a witch and has forever. And I love that you own it, Diana.
Thank you. I love the word. I definitely, like y'all both said, I identify with it. I come from such a long line of them. How dare I not?
Yeah, well, Diane, for us, we're trying to get that stigma away from people claiming to be a witch, because it's still there. Because even the video that Teri and I put out about the different types of witches, I noticed that we didn't get that many people who looked at it, and it was because of that one word that we're trying to educate people about that and to see what it actually is. Because the first, it's just like aliens, people just kind of bristle up with that word, like exactly, and which is in that same category. So can you explain or tell everybody exactly how you describe a witch?
All-encompassing magician. But what is a magician? You can call a doctor a magician because he knows what to do and when to do it. She can give you drugs that are necessary for you, but she has to know what those drugs do, what the side effects are. And it's basically the same thing, because where did medicine get its beginning? In knowledge of the plants, in knowledge of the earth, in knowledge of what water can do and what is poisonous and what is not. So it is essentially witchcraft. The name has been changed to protect the innocent to medicine, but there's the local sorceress or sorcerer. That's who you went to for medicine. That's who you go to. The shaman, the
I was going
witch
to ask you
doctor.
about that. A shaman versus a witch.
It's the same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
It's just
A different label.
culture. Yes, culture changes names that incorporate the same meanings.
Right.
And
Because shaman is extremely accepted. Witches weren't, because they were persecuted so many years ago.
right. And it's like once upon a time we dialed the phone. Now we still dial the phone. But
Well,
we're punching buttons. So, I mean,
yeah, it's
totally
also
changed.
the fact that people are afraid of witches, but they're not afraid of the people who persecuted the witches, which
And where was the bigger damage done, right?
exactly,
How
exactly.
many lives have I been burned at the stake, doused during the colonial days into the lake with the rocks? Oh, she died. She must have been a witch. She is a witch. She escaped.
Right.
All that crazy stuff was just to fit the scenario of power that they wanted to show of themselves. But before that, the week before that, they're sitting there getting medicine for their carbuncle on their toe or the gout in their knee, and yeah, we'll give up the wine and the gout will go away, but they wouldn't do that. So it's knowing, it's just a knowing on how to read energy.
Do you feel like it connects more with the divine feminine?
Yes. But what is divine feminine? I just think it's divinity. It just resonates with the whole word divinity. Male and female are divine, but both are contained in our body. So it's this strength and courage that is our masculine side, my masculine side, that gives me the ability to know what plant and just go ahead and create the medicine and make sure that I explain it fully to whomever it is I'm giving it to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're talking about, it sounds like to me that you are what we were defining on our video as a green witch, is how it sounds like you would be defined as. Do you do other things? Do you do spells, or do you do, and I know you do astrology, so you have to do with the moon and all those kind of the stars and everything. And that's also a title that's given to witches. But I was finding out that it seemed like, okay, we got this part that seems like a shaman that they're describing a witch. We got this part that seems like an herbalist that they're describing as a witch. Now we got this part that sounds like an astrologer. So I mean, it just sounds like we're just using different labels.
That's what it is. It's an all-encompassing. It's an umbrella. The word witch is an umbrella that goes over all the just understanding energy, and it's all energy, and it all is math. And so it's not that I can do math like geometry. If they'd have taken me to a pool hall, I would have had a better understanding, or taught me astrology. I would have had a better understanding of geometry in high school, but they didn't. So they didn't teach it to me correctly. But now that I have self-taught, I can see all these different planes and I understand geometry a lot better. But it's all encompassing because you have to use your instinct. And that instinct is the energy that surrounds you, the plasma. It is so important that we're now entering this phase where everybody is beginning to recognize plasma and how much of it there is in the whole entire universe. There's nothing that isn't covered with plasma somewhere, somehow, be it thin, veil thin, or dense, stopping dense. So it's mediumship. It is all of that is in the.
That's my next question. Would mediumship, how about tarot, the rods, the dowsing rods, all those kind of modalities, light language, all those things, they fall under witch? Does everything fall under a witch? Basically, is what I'm asking.
That's the best explanation we could have for it, because that term goes way back, because that was what you would use for somebody who could do it all. Or Merlin.
So you would have to be able to do it all to be called a witch. You couldn't be just a light language person, or just an Akashic record person, or to be. Go ahead.
Well, I personally don't think you can separate it. Everything is under this umbrella. You specialize as we have specialists in everything these days, and you have to be documented and you have to be specialized. Consider when that term came into being, people didn't specialize like that.
Right.
We were barely speaking.
Right.
We barely discovered fire, but the first guy who did.
Yeah. Well, that's how I describe mediumship. I think everybody's a medium, and it's just which modality or which way you go to express it. It sounds like it's the same way you're describing witch. It's everybody is a witch. It's just which way you want to express that.
Exactly. And what day of the week? I'm working with the plants. I'm a green witch. I'm moving brown leaves today, and now I'm a brown witch. And so,
There was the
I'm
title.
doing astrology now. I'm a blue witch.
Yeah.
I'm doing
Well,
white
there
now.
there was a title that was the eclectic witch, which that would be pretty. And I think I even said it, that's probably going to encompass almost everybody being
That's
eclectic. I mean, I think there are some people who are very strong in certain ways they express their energy or their information, and they probably really want to stay in that corner and saying, I am a dowsing rod specialist or an Akashic record specialist or a tarot reader. I do think they want to stay in those specific categories sometimes. So when they want to stay in those specific categories, I know they're probably going to run away from the word terminology of being under the heading of a witch. They even bucket being under the heading of a medium. So
yes. So
that's just what I've experienced.
because there is still that other side of society that we've been brought up in, and what was bought into during the colonial days when that whole power trip went on, or even before that, because it did start before that colonization period, where all of a sudden everybody is a witch. But crazy things happened. Psilocybin mushrooms were discovered, so everybody was doing crazy things, including those who didn't identify themselves as a caregiver witch, So
Do you feel like it's all coming back full circle now?
yeah. Yes. I do. You know what? Maybe it's hard for me to answer that question because the circle has not been unbroken for me.
Yeah.
I have a long, dense history of witchcraft that comes right out of Poland, because these are the things that I grew up with knowing, because the herbalist's grandparent and aunts and uncles who pulled every bottle off the shelf or went out in the yard and pulled the weed and made the medicine out of it.
Well, that's how you grew up too, Teri.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking how many people out there, how many of you out there identify with this, that your grandparents or my grandfather was a homeopathic doctor, and my grandmother was a MD, and my other grandmother was a nurse. And my mom was Wiccan. So it's just like, yeah, we always had the herbs and everything. How much of it is intention when we're dealing with things like that? Like, you make beautiful salves that I have on my nightstand still, and different ones for different things, right?
Yeah.
If I have pain or anything, I put one on. Or if I want to go to sleep, the magnesium one with the soles of my feet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I mean, my uncle, the dentist, it was common practice back then that you walked into the dentist's office. What did you smell? Cloves. Because what did he use for not anesthetic? Cloves and cinnamon. The strongest drops he could possibly have is what went on your tooth before he pulled it. Trust me, I know. There was no Novocaine for me anyway.
Well, what would you recommend for people who are wanting to research or get started into it? Somebody new, somebody young who's never been exposed to any of it, but they've got this curiosity about it. How would you say that they should go about and get started?
I would start with one of the older books. No, not the ancient books, because they're hard to read, but you may take enough of an interest that you'll go seek those older books. But Ride a Silver Broomstick.
Ride a
Silver Raven Wolf.
Now, there's a lot of people who will be scared to get these books because of what the association with. So, I mean, it's almost like, I was talking to somebody about a Ouija board yesterday. Who a lot of people have fear about the Ouija board, and because things happened, in their childhood about it, but it would be the same thing probably about, these books being associated with witch, that they might be a little afraid of getting. So how would you calm them or comfort them in the fact that this could be okay to get these books? That they
I would
still
say,
want to jump out at them and you know, like TV and movie show us.
well, yeah, because those are dramas, those are comedies. So you get all different kinds of things in that brings in all the elements of the fear tactics that have gone on over the centuries. And not all of that can be so. I mean, you still, like I do spell work, but what is spelling? The ability to read. That's really all it meant. That person knows how to read. So she's casting a spell. He's creating a spell because they're reading a recipe out of a book that tells you what ingredients to pull together to get the energy you need to what? Make the cake rise. You know?
That's good to
Or-
know. 'Cause that's what I didn't know that was a definition of a spell. Because only exposure I've had to people who do spells was that they just use intention, and they just instead of intention they labeled it as spell.
Well, that's okay. We can accept that in today's modern definitions of things, but the truth of the matter is you take it all the way back. And spell work was the ability to read.
Read a recipe.
Yep, read a recipe. Or just read in general, you know.
Yeah.
To read Ogum. I mean, Ogum is designed so that you could just do it with one hand or two hands, you know, and then these are the letters. They don't just represent trees, they do, but the 26 symbols of the Ogum alphabet is
I don't
so
even know
that
what that is.
you
don't
have a
either.
tablet with you with your 10 fingers.
What is the alphabet? We don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, my bowl of Ogum sticks is over there, but it's hashtags. So
Oh.
1, 3, 5, this would be the fifth mark. And then if you're writing a sentence, some of those same symbols would change because the stick would be up high or the stick would be up low. That would give you two different definitions and how you place the hand or where you place the line. And if you're trying to tell a whole phrase, then it starts up here, kind of like musical notes, but it starts up here and then the whole line will drop down and then the whole line will drop up.
So what's the purpose in that?
Spelling, because there was no written alphabet.
Oh, so that was before the alphabet.
Right. Runes are the same thing. It is symbols that represent whole phrases.
Oh, the runes are the same thing.
Runes, Ogum, yeah, hieroglyphics, all of that comes down under that same heading of spelling.
What about the chanting and the stories brought back from generation to generation of something to chant while doing it, like a mantra?
Okay, so as with your connection to Buddha, you know what mantras do. It aligns your pineal gland with your pituitary and your opening of the third eye and the hallowed, not the hollow, but the hallowedness of the hollow, the monad. And that is something that was already known back there, back in the day of a positive meaning to the word witch. It just, everybody accepted that as part of how you do these things. So,
Yeah, the first sound of the universe, primordial.
That's right. And it's every sound possible is in that Om.
Yes, infinite potential.
And when you put your tongue to your palate or right behind your teeth, then you go, you feel your teeth vibrating off of that. And then people join in and you do it together and it becomes a 33 trillion angels. So that mantra is calling in the higher source, because what do we understand more readily now, but always knew back then? Frequency and vibration is when we speak, when we listen, when we connect, we harmonize. with the universe, with Gaia, with each other.
Yeah. Everything has frequency, right?
Yeah.
Multiverse. So it's all that. And I love that you're talking about the tongue too. So that's an ancient Vedic and primordial thing.
Right.
Use the tongue and
It goes way
activate.
back to that blue guy.
Yeah. Sure enough.
Right? Shiva,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Well,
How many tongues you got?
yeah. So we want to keep this kind of short because we like to make it easy, but we want to definitely have you back on, Diana. So this
I'll be
has been a
glad
wealth
to
of
come back.
information. Did you have any other questions that you want to get in today?
No, I think that's enough for today. That's gonna be a good. Well, that's gonna be a good video right now.
It's going to be a great video. Yeah. So
Awesome.
thank you so much for being here. And if anybody wants to reach you for a reading or watch one of your shows on YouTube, how will they do that?
Oilpntr at AOL.com. Why mess with a good thing? I'm probably the last person on earth still using AOL, but
Yeah.
too many people to have to notify if I changed that. So,
And what about your YouTube channel?
it is just Oilpntr,
Okay.
and the icon, which I just cannot change, is a little fairy door with a statue of an angel in front of it,
Lovely. Beautiful.
which is right out back, by the way.
I love that. All right. Well, thanks so much, Diana. And
You're
we'll
welcome.
see you later.
All right. Thank you, Diana.
Namaste. I love you.